How's it going? What is up? What is up? Welcome to the stream. We got Ralex S0096. We got Narora. Welcome, welcome. I want to make a quick rapid cut. See GitHub. Let's make another repository. 131 now. All right. What's up, the automation station? Yeah, I usually keep my live streams open after I end them. How much does this end up costing you in AI tokens? It depends on what I'm doing. A lot of the Automaker stuff, I would say the most I've spent letting it run all night, maybe like $10 or $20 from my Cloud Code subscription. But I had the $100 a month Cloud Code subscription, so when I hit my limits, I just stop. I come back when my limits reset. All right, I'm trying to... So when building out features on the Automaker, I like to build out other projects. So I have Rapid Cut, which is another tool that I want to use to be able to quickly edit my YouTube videos. I want to find areas in my video where I have retakes, I got dead air, I got things I need to cut out. And this has been kind of useful because now I can go through and quickly identify spots that I can just go to. Now, one thing would be cool if I could toggle these. If I can click these as toggled, so I can actually filter them out of this list. So let's see if we can implement that in Automaker. So we're in Automaker right here. Do I have like a cool, let's just go to River here. All right, all of these, create file, import UI components. These are a bunch of things that like... Yeah, anyway, so what I want to do is on the right panel, where you show the 4 different categories of like cut, dead air, whatever else is there, can you please just allow me to click those to toggle them on or off as filters? I might drag in a image of the segments here so it knows what I'm talking about. Drag this in. And I think this is good. We could probably keep it as Opus. Skip the planning, it's fine. And then go ahead and add that as a feature. Now, one thing that I would probably want to change a little bit is sometimes I add in a feature and then I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this category. It's kind of annoying, honestly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go load up Cloud Code over here on Automaker. Inside of the Create Feature modal, can you add another button that just says Make, which will just automatically set it to the In Progress column and start working on it? Right now, the user experience is not that good because now I have to add it to the backlog. It goes to the very bottom of the list. I have to scroll down and click it and then drag it into the the in progress column. I want to fast pass that user interaction to make it quickly just start making right when I create the feature. Now I want to find out what modal that is. So we're going to say new, add new feature. What modal is this? Add feature dialog. Called the add feature dialog. So I'm going to drop this in as context so it knows what I'm talking about. Something I like to do with agentic coding is like give it the exact file that's related to the prompt so it doesn't have to waste all its time going through and grepping your code base and whatnot. What do you think about this recent trend of big tech shipping bad features that don't work most of the time? You have to be more specific. What features are bad that you're talking about? For me, the potential astronomic bill is the biggest thing that makes me not use all these new agentic tools. I mean, how big is a big bill for you? $100 a month is not a big bill, depending on where you're living. To be able to ship 5 or 10 times more features in the same amount of time, like that's definitely worth paying for. So if that's out of your price range, maybe you can look in the GLM. There's a new model that came out called GLM. People say it's pretty good and almost on par as Opus 4.5, and it's extremely cheap. I think you can go to z.ai.com, or the domain is z.ai, and there's a way to hook it up in the cloud code as well. All right, let's see. I think I heard in one of your streams you guys plan on open sourcing Automaker. Is that the plan? I mean, it's literally open source. I guess it depends on what you say by open source. The license is not open, but it's free to use. So like, let me go to Automaker. What's up, guys? Is the music fine, or is it too low? Is it too high? Let me know. Go star the repo. We are at 959 stars. I was hoping to get to 1,000 by Christmas, but we didn't meet that goal, but it's fine. If you guys want to go show your support, just go star the repo. It's a free to use tool. You can clone it. You can start running it. There's a lot of stuff we got to improve, but we're trying to kind of get through it. I might review some pull requests on this stream as well. And also I need to, on my Discord, let me go to my Discord. I'll just say here, I am streaming, working on Automaker right now. Let me get a link to this, hold on. By the way, I also have a Discord. So if you guys want to join the Automaker / Agentic Jumpstart Discord to work with, you know, work on Automaker, if you guys want to do pull requests, that's where everyone's hanging out. All right, anyway, so I asked Claude. Ooh, okay, there's a little bug with cursor. When I use Claude and cursor, sometimes cursor just breaks, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to let this finish running. It's building my Electron app right now to verify it works. But I do need to close out of this stuff because it's just completely broken now. Okay, looks like it's done. Let's go back to Automaker and double check. If I make a new feature, okay, now we got a make button. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this out. Let's see, add on the right panel where you showed the 4 different categories like cut. All right, let me just make a new feature, paste this, and I'm going to press make. Automatically added it in. Did it add in the wrong one though? Why did it, That's interesting. That's very strange. I'm not sure why I did that. Console log hello world to the console. Huh. That's so weird. It grabbed the wrong card. Alright, anyway, let me go back here and fix this. Cursor's messed up. This happens once every couple of days. I have to like basically hard restart cursor because it just gets to a bad state. And I think it only happens when I'm using Claude Code CLI inside a cursor. The strangest thing. Alright, so the thing that we're trying to add in with Automaker... Wait, where did Automaker go? Oh, I closed that. Yeah, let me load this back up. I think it got into a broken state because I restarted Automaker when I was running, so I'm gonna actually kick this back. Let's see if it's able to, like, resume its last output. Let me go to the Automaker project real quick. Social relay. Moving that one in the trash right now. Alright, Agentic Jumpstart. I did get some feedback on this project. When a user watches through at least 95% of the video, can you automatically mark it as completed? Right now, a user has to manually click the Mark as Completed button after they watch the video, and it's not the best user experience. So make that automated. What's another thing that someone gave me feedback on? Someone gave me feedback saying that there's a bug on the video player, the segment viewer, when they're watching through a video and they set it to 2x speed. If they were to come back later, like pause the video and restart it, it seems to reset it back to the 1x speed. Can you just double check the logic to make sure there's nothing wrong there and fix that? So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually kicking off work on a different project, my Agentic Jumpstart course, which, by the way, let me just kind of go here. This is my Agentic Jumpstart course I've been working on, teaching Claude Code, teaching Cursor, teaching Agentic Coding. I got 74 videos and 11.5 hours of content where we build out a full stack application using TanStack Start, Drizzle, and we get it deployed somewhere. But I also teach like the basics of Agentic Coding and how to get good at it, how to do everything I'm doing in the stream and all my videos. But I kicked off a task in Automaker because someone's saying that when they watch the course, it seems like it resets their speed. Let's go here. I'm going to switch this to playback speed of 2. But you can kind of set up your bug. Yeah, it's like not bug license over here. And then you need to make sure you have it turned on for your repositories. You have to go and manage. So it's going to fix that bug. Automaker's right now fixing that bug. And there's also a bug with... Yeah, let's just fix this bug too. This doesn't actually work when I click on these links. So again, let's go back to Automaker. There's also a bug when I click on these top right quick navigation progress toggle buttons. It's not actually navigating me to the proper page. Can you go and research what might be going wrong there and fix it? Okay, so now I got 3 things working on my Agentic Jumpstart course, and I haven't even ran this app locally. It's literally just going through and fixing stuff. I want to make sure I'm on the right branch. I'm on main, yeah. So it should fix this, it should fix the playback speed, and it should also fix mark as completed. If I were to go and basically watch this video, at some point it should mark as completed. That is fixed in awaiting. Aeromat. Aeromat's been helping me out on the Agentic Jumpstart platform. Shout out to him. It looks like he's already fixed. Which ones you fixed already? You fixed this stuff, right? So maybe what I can do is just go to Agentic Jumpstart, look at the pull requests. Are these both ready to go? Which one should I work on, Matt? Dev mode simplification and playwright test infrastructure. I need to read through these. Probably this one. Generate pre-signed URLs on demand profile images. Depends on 46. That's already been merged. Okay, that's fine. Log code review, run the test. Okay. Let me go back to the stream. Navigation. The one with the dev mode simplifications has to fix. I may need to merge some stuff in. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your live stream. No, you're good. Are they both good to merge in? Or not? Yeah, let's actually do a new approach to how we're doing pull requests. So if they are good, either keep them in draft if they're not ready to be merged. Like my approach, if they're green, like I'm just going to merge them. Or we can add a new label called like don't merge. That's how we're doing it in Automaker. So if you do want to make a pull request, but it's not ready to be merged in, let me edit this. Yeah, so for both of these, I'd probably just add like a don't merge label if they're not ready to be merged. And also this X, I want to turn that off. It's kind of annoying how the Claude code stuff treats it as broken. Anyway. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add the tags just for now. If they are both ready, you can just go remove those tags. But that's the best way I can kind of think about of like tracking when they're truly ready to be merged in or not. And this one, do you even want this one? Is this a good reference? The Stripe Connect for affiliates. Like, did you even use this at all, or should I just close it? You know, I'm just gonna close it. You can just look at the closed PRs if you need this. Let me go back over here. Let's see. What's your secret for your consistency? How do you organize yourself? I'm not very organized. I just, when I have an idea, I just go and fix it. Like on my projects, I have multiple projects going at the same time. When I think about a bug fix or someone comes to me and says, hey, there's an issue here, I'll just go and I'll prompt it to be fixed, right? I don't really do a bunch of like backlog management and refinement. Like at work, we do that type of stuff, but for my side projects, no. I just kind of, I use my applications, and when I see there's something that needs to be fixed, I'll go and I'll prompt Claude Code to basically fix it. But we have, let me load up Agentic Jumpstart as well. We have a lot of applications. The hardest part about running all these projects locally is like to make sure all these databases are running in the background. And then I also have them all running on different ports, so there's no port collisions. So every single application of mine, I have a very specific port I use. Agentic Jump starts 4000. Automaker is using like 3008 or something, some weird numbers. But that's the only way I can figure out how to like get these all running and just let them run on my computer at all times. And then when I want to go work on them, I just go and, why did I go to this though? Hold on a second. In the wrong tab. Okay, so the things that we fixed. I think this is a brand new database, so I'm gonna have to create a new module. Testing. Let's just go and upload a really quick video that I can find. Let's go to movies. 23 minutes. This is short enough. Ew, no modules found. This is gross. Look at this drop down. Let me go back and fix that over there. Can you please improve the styling of this no modules found drop down that's on the create module / edit module page? I think you just need to add more like padding in the left and the right, honestly. Okay, that'll be fixing when I'm kind of like testing this stuff out. All right, so a couple things we added in. Let's add a new module. Just call it like YOLO. Create that module. We're gonna go here, add a segment again. This is all local, so this is just like a locally running data. Let's just go ahead and create that segment. All right, so first of all, can we switch to go to the other? Yep, this is fixed now. My head's hiding it, so let me just hide my head. This was broken before. Automaker just fixed it for us. And I know Matt already has it in a PR, but okay, I can just fix merge conflicts. All right, and then this, I want to test if I watch the video, change the speed. So one of the things that we added Automaker last night, one of the awesome features that we added to Automaker last night was this feature to allow us to basically generate a giant dependency graph so that we can see what features all of our like base dependencies, and then as those get built out, it unlocks these other features that can basically be built. I don't think it marked it as complete though. Dependencies, and then as those get built out, it unlocks these other features that can basically be built. Oh, it did mark it as complete, but the button did not go away. That's weird. We can fix it. So good thing about Automaker is we can go back and find where we're talking about the button. This one, I'm going to say refine. It looks like it is marking the video as complete, but the issue is that inside of the segment view top header, the mark as complete button was supposed to go away when the video is marked as complete. So I think you maybe need to add in an additional query cache and validation call inside of the logic you just added to automatically create it as, or mark it as completed. Just invalidate some query cache. I think that's the issue. Okay, so again, like since I know kind of how the code works, I'm using Tanstack query inside that project. I'm pretty sure that's where the bug is. Just guide the LM to go straight to where the bug is and have it be fixed, right? If you don't know, then you could probably like ask it to go and figure it out, but I'm pretty sure that's the issue. Let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, we fixed those 3 issues. The playback speed, I think, is persisting. So one of the things that we added to Automaker. Yeah, playback speed's good now. You can see the page refreshing as Automaker's going through and just fixing stuff. When you use these GLM kind of models to build apps, are all your sessions prompts saved to some place coming at it from an IP confidential? I mean, I don't know if they're going to save all your code. I guarantee you they're training the models based on the data that's being sent to it. And like, based on if you keep on reprompting it, because it's like running to issues, fixing what you're asking it to do, I bet you they're doing some type of, throw it into a giant data store, track everything, and then they can retrain the models and tune them. Not that it really matters though, honestly. Like any application I'm building on a stream, someone who's good at Claude Code and agentic coding can come and basically clone exactly what I built. And if they just put the pedal to the metal and like work 8 hours a day, they could literally make Automaker in like a week. Like that's how crazy AI is. They can take a screenshot of Automaker and just like ask Gemini 3 to replicate this view, or ask Claude Code with like a skills hook or like a UI skills to basically replicate what we have. So I think it basically just boils down to like, do you have the dedication to go all in cloning something that you see? Because these models are so powerful now. How do you always prefer Kanban over Scrum? Hey, Code with Antonio, how's it going? How do you get the 30% context usage in your status line, custom or some tool? This is just built in the Claude Code. I just went over here. So let me show you real quick. You go and load up Claude Code. Just type /status line, and that's going to set it up. It's going to install some stuff in your bash profile or whatever to get the status line showing. And then you just say status line and say, can you please show the context window usage and percentage on my status line? That's it. You can literally ask Claude Code to go and update the status line configuration to add in whatever you want. I think if you go and read the docs, there's a certain subset of things you can actually do. Like you can't just add whatever you want here. This is literally what I did, and it added this percentage sign. But anyway, yeah, little tips and tricks like that. That's all covered in my Agentic Jumpstart course, by the way. So if you guys are interested, I do believe I talked about status line. Yeah, right here, status line. It's actually the third video because I say it's super important to have the status line set up, because tracking the context window and how it's growing in size, you need to track that stuff, because at a certain point, the context window becomes so large that you get bad output. And we do talk about the context window right here. And it's at the very start of the course because it's very important to keep track of that context window. So yeah, agenticjumpstart.com if you guys are interested in checking out that course. Can you add PayPal as a payment method? Nah, probably not. How do you always prefer Kanban over Scrum? I don't know. Scrum is just, when you add too much process to a project, especially now with AI tooling, you just bottleneck your whole team. You literally bottleneck your whole team. And I think literally Kanban, like, here's a little feature of the bug I need to fix. Let Automaker fix it for you. You're done. Make a pull request, merge it. Like, that's how fast the process is now if you're actually all in an agentic coding. Otherwise, like, I don't know. There's just so much process. But again, I'm talking with like side projects at work. I mean, when you're not the actual like product owner and you don't have intimacy of like how users use your application, you can't just kind of just add whatever features that you want, right? Hey Cody, do you think AI generated code by Cursor auto mode is production ready? I haven't used auto mode in so long. Back when I was using auto mode, it was kind of bad, right? I would rather just use the model that I know is going to give me good output. The Opus 4.5, Gemini 3.0 Pro, GPT 5.2. State-of-the-art models are what you want to use. Like, I would not waste time because you're trying to save some money. Like, if you want to go all in, just go all in. Pull out a credit card and actually do agentic coding the way it's like going to give you the best results, in my opinion. What is the music? This is drum and bass, and this is all AI generated music as well. I went to 11 Labs. I had some music be generated for me so that I can just play music without like getting copyright strikes. When are we getting support for Gemini CLI? Not everyone has Pro Max subscriptions. You could open the door to more people. I think there's people already making pull requests for that. I just need to review them. Like someone added the Cursor CLI. We need to get this one merged in. Add Cursor Agent CLI as alternative AI provider. But as you can tell, I mean, like how many file changes? 37 file changes. I need to go through and actually like clone this and try it out. But maybe we can get this merged in during this stream. But yeah, I want to add in Codex. Definitely want to add in Codex. We want to add in Open Code. We want to add in probably if like Google has their CLI tool as well. and just wrap as many of these providers as possible. I know web dev. I want to build a mobile app in Swift UI. Do you think in the current meta the best way to do it is just prompt agents and ask it to explain or go through the course then build? I mean, I will say you will get the most success if you understand how to prompt properly. And to be able to prompt properly, you have to understand the code. You got to understand the lingo of Swift UI. I'm sure there's a bunch of different interfaces and pre-built classes that you have to use in Swift UI for doing layout, for doing like actions. And the more you understand that lingo, the better you're going to be able to prompt. And so you could just prompt your way to a solution right now, but read the output of the LLM every step of the way and start memorizing some of the terminology so that you can prompt better as it fails. Like if you can't prompt well, you're going to see bad outputs. And so you kind of just need to hone that craft in. GLM 4.7 support yet. Can use directly with Claude Code and Automaker. Some more affiliate and community features incoming to the Jumpstart. That is fixed. Oh, let me go back up. Sorry, I'm kind of behind. Hey, recently saw your video on getting back to Claude. Curious what the max plan you're on using. I mean, right now I switched down to the $100 a month. I think it's the 5X. When we first started doing Automaker, I had to bump it up to the 200 because we were hitting limits so fast with how much we're shipping. But now it's reached a point where a lot of people are doing pull requests to the project and doing a lot of the work. And I don't find myself needing to have the huge subscription. If you're working full time, you probably want the high subscription. But I would just start with the $100 a month. If you start hitting limits every day, then you probably need to bump it up. Bring no to AI card people. I don't know what that means. Navigation, the one with the dev modes implication has a fix. I'm gonna hit the merchant stuff in. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Okay, I'm way behind in chat. Hold on. I've been watching you for a while. Would you recommend a specific setup for someone wanting to do a SaaS? What do you mean specific setup? I would find a starter kit. I like using Tanstack Start, and I like using Drizzle with Postgres personally. And then I use Stripe for my payments. You could probably use Polar, or there's other merchant of sale. I think it's what it's called, merchants of sale. If you're like based in the European Union and you want to do the taxes and track all that stuff, you should probably use a merchant of sale. Is that image generator SaaS still making money? Not really. It's really not. And I wouldn't expect it to, right? Like the how good the image generation stuff has gotten from all these like models. You can just go to like Bing, or you can go to like OpenAI directly and just generate stuff right in their user interfaces. Really not making that much money. I was thinking about actually like shutting it down one day because it just doesn't. We can check it out. So at one point I came through here and I redid the whole UI using Gemini 3, so it looks a little bit better. And I redid the whole UI as well. I added a bunch new styles. So like we have a ton of different types of styles here that you can switch through. You can change to use the low quality model or the high quality. Change the color palette, etc. And I built the whole admin dashboard. I don't want to show it on stream because I might leak someone's email. But I can go through here and I can view when people are buying stuff. I can view what icons they're generating, what prompts they're using, what are my most used. Let me actually just go to that. I want to see if I can share that without sharing like But yeah, overall I'm not making money from this app anymore. Let me drag this down here. All right, so like one thing we added in was usage. So I can see when people are generating icons, a lot of them are using pop art, realistic, minimalistic, isometric, stained glass. And so I can kind of get an understanding of like what styles are being used the most. And I can actually click in the users and see what icons they're generating to see. But overall, yeah, I mean, there's not that many people even using this app. There's like 25 generations on the 25th. Wait, is this a date? Yeah, you'll see. 3 images on the 25th, 2 images on the 26th. So this app is basically dead. Which is weird because I have so many people signed up. Like, this is a legit, this isn't a fake count. I literally have 202,000 user accounts in my application. And this is how many icons they've generated. But yeah, I mean, it's just like legit dead now. But it was fun while it lasted, I guess. What is the software you're using for transcripting? It's called Super Whisper. I always learn something when watching your videos or stream. Thanks for the mentoring. Yeah, of course. I'm glad you enjoy my stuff. Hello, I'm really enjoying your new AI videos. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I have a question. Can I use Automaker with cursor instead of Claude? When I merge this pull request, you should be able to. Let me make a pull request for these changes that we did in Automaker. Why is delete API key here? This one keeps getting added back for some reason. And a cursor, they need to fix cursor, man. Cursor is just so buggy. Like, I will literally commit all these changes and then I'll reload cursor and like it just a bunch of stuff pops back up. So cursor's like holding on to changes somewhere. It's weird. This is the new feature we added. I definitely want to add that one. Add feature dialog. There's a new make button. Alright, this is a big pull request. I'm gonna have to read through this and try to figure out what's going on. Do you think that software engineering can be 100% automated? If these models get good enough, I think they can. I honestly think it can. I think the real question is will it be faster without having a human? Or like, will the quality of the software, will it be as good without a human reviewing it or something? I don't know. I think we can probably automate all software at some point. If these models keep on progressing at the rate at which they're progressing. What do you think is going to be the differentiating software in the future when anyone will be able to create exactly what they want? I don't know. It's a really weird time that we're living in, honestly. Like, who knows what's going to happen in this industry? I will say that the more you can know outside of coding, like if you know marketing, you know how to run Google AdSense, you know how to like attract more users to your application through like search engine optimization. I think it just makes you a much more valuable candidate for like a startup, because not only can you like use these tools to agentic code and add features really fast, you can also hook this into various pathways to get people to use your application, right? So being good at marketing, all that other stuff, I think is going to be making you a lot more valuable, because anyone literally can just prompt solutions now. So you kind of have to expand your skill set to be more valuable. Do you have a set of security check prompts before deploying? Thanks for the content lately. Cloud Code helped me so much with several projects of mine. Also, any plans for the zombie game? Yeah, I might revisit the zombie game at some point. Honestly, I'm just going back all in onto the AI stuff, agentic coding, trying to promote my course. The zombie game was cool, and I think it helped get me over like a burnout phase, but overall, like there's no... It's not going to help pay the bills, right? That zombie game is not going to help pay the bills, so it's kind of pointless for me to work on it. But yeah, security checks. Honestly, right now, the pull request. So when we make a pull request, you will see that CodeRabbit will come in and it will do security checks on all the code. I also have Gemini running through all the code and verifying that there's no like giant security issues. It also gives you some suggestions about, okay, this could lead to a race condition. That's not good. And so I would have to come back and fix this pull request and try to address some of that feedback, which is super easy to do because guess what we can do now? We can just go up to Claude Code. Just load up Claude Code real quick. Can you please address the comments on the pull request? That's all you have to do. You just prompt Claude Code to go look at the pull request, pull down the comments, and then start addressing them. There's also a way built in the Claude Code. You can just do, let me show you that one real quick. You say /PR. Come on. /PR comments. Get comments from my pull request repo. So you can actually pull those comments and put them in your context window, and then you can prompt it and say, hey, please address all the critical or major security vulnerabilities or something like that. But this is the approach I like to take. Just give it the pull request number, tell it to address all the comments, and then I'll commit this when it's done. Can you tell diff in AutoClaude and Automaker, does Automaker use graffiti memory layer? We don't have any memory layer yet. How much of your testing is automated? For my side projects, honestly, I don't have that many tests. I have like top level end-to-end tests just to spot check to make sure nothing like serious is broken. But the thing I found with agentic coding is like when you find a bug, you can literally prompt it and have it fixed and deployed out in like 5 or 10 minutes. And so the value of these tests aren't as valuable as they once were, because before when you have a bug, a developer would have to go and spend a day or two trying to figure out how to reproduce it, how to fix it, get it pushed out to an environment, verify the fix worked, and then get it to production, right? Eats up a ton of developer time. Now when there's a small bug, one prompt, get it to production. Granted, you still have to validate that the prompting fixed it properly, but yeah, I don't know, just having like tons and tons and tons of automated tests, I just don't feel like they're very valuable on side projects. At a high risk project, like a legit project used by like millions of people, then yeah, you should probably have tests, but I'm finding that tests just kind of slow down your entire project if they're not really well written, maintainable tests. In your opinion, is AI like a multiplier, meaning if you're a great engineer, you'll get better code than people who don't know how to code? Yeah, I mean, you can go and ask anyone who's not a coder. Sit them down and ask them to build something. They're going to struggle. They'll have no idea how to prompt properly. They'll have no idea how to debug when Claude Code can't fix the error and your Chrome browser's throwing a gigantic like Next.js hydration issue. They will not know what to do. And so it is a multiplier. The better you are at coding, the faster you can move. What is the best coding setup model for you currently on your projects? Let's see, best coding setup model. I use a lot of different models. Opus 4.5 is my default. If Opus can't figure it out, I'll kick it over to GPT 5.2. I think that's also a really great model for debugging complex issues. If it's a UI thing, Gemini 3 Pro. If I want to just spruce up the UI, redesign the UI a little bit, Gemini 3 is great at that stuff. There's also a Claude Code skill that's pretty good for like the UI stuff I've been playing around with. I don't know if it's on par with Gemini yet though. And then Composer 1 for refactoring. I will kick any refactoring over to Composer 1 just because it runs so fast. It'll just burn through all of my code and just like refactor stuff. And often it doesn't break anything. If it does, you just reprompt it again to fix type errors or whatever. But as long as you're not adding a new functionality, you're trying to debug something, Composer 1 is really great at refactoring. So those are like my main 4 models that I use when I'm doing agentic coding. But Opus 4.5 is still my default. Can we build Claude agents, sub-agents, or Claude skills in Automaker? Not yet, no. I think we talked about adding in Claude skills at some point. We do have a pull request that allows you to have multiple pipelines. So like an Automaker right now, there's only 4 pipelines, but someone made a pull request where we can add in new columns. So after it's done with the in progress, you can kick it to a security review column, and then that will go into another column for like code refactoring to make sure all the code is clean. And then that'll go to waiting for approval. So we do have that feature coming in soon. I just need to review the pull request. I checked it out a couple days ago and it just wasn't working. So I kind of left some feedback for them to fix it. Polar is too expensive if you're in the EU base. You literally are charged multiple times. That's crazy. Yeah, I think Stripe is probably your best option. Stripe, and then read a book, ask an LLM how to do taxes. I don't think it's as hard as people think it is. Like, just track. Stripe will check and track what countries are buying your product, and then at the end, I think every quarter, you have to go and then pay your, what is it called? What's that tax that European people have? I've forgotten the name of that. VAT tax, that's what it's called. From 0 to 10, how much are you using Claude Code and why? Like 10 out of 10. I use it all the time. I got into web dev from your $10 icon generator course. Hey, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Was it really $10? I thought it was like 20 bucks. Okay, great. Thank you very much. When I search Automaker in Google, it literally is the first found. That's good. How do you monitor all your projects? Monitor them for what? I don't really have like a centralized logging place or like a centralized way to see if stuff's crashing. Like, I just deploy everything the Railway, and then I'll go through. Honestly, I don't worry about it. Like, when my stuff is deployed out, it just never crashes. It just works. It's very seldom I'll go and look at a UI that I like, an application I've deployed out, and it's like down. Because Railway, it's all containerized, so if it does crash, it just gets restarted. There's probably some better things I could do to making it more resilient. But for the most part, like, it just kind of works, you know? Like the icon generator, I often don't check that thing for like months. I think I went like a whole year without looking at icon generator. It was still running. People are still using it. People are still buying credits. So as long as you're not getting like errors in Stripe and the money's still coming through, you can kind of assume that it still works, right? I'm considering taking the Agentic Jumpstart course. Honestly, is it worth it? I'm a full stack engineer, 8 years experience with TypeScript, Python. Will the course be updated? And will we get new content? Yeah, as AI is progressing, I'm adding in new videos to it. And as I'm learning new things along the way, I add in things to it. I would say the course is only worth it if you're not currently using Claude Code like every day. Right? The purpose of the course is people who still think that coding is like this manual process, and they haven't even woken up to the fact that Opus 4.5 could probably outcode you any day of the week, right? And so I'm trying to teach you the strategies when I'm doing agentic coding on Automaker, or when I'm building out Rapid Cut, or when I'm building out my Agentic Jumpstart course, or when I'm working on Icon Generator, right? I have all these different projects. I'm showing you my strategies I like to take for just kind of having better prompting, how to actually handle this with Cursor and Claude Code and stuff. So that's when the course could be valuable to you. But I think it also depends on like where you live, right? For someone living in the US, a course for 200 bucks, when your Claude Code subscription is 200 bucks a month, it's like a no-brainer, right? But if you live in a country where, I don't know, 200 bucks for a course is like too expensive, maybe it won't be worth it to you. Maybe you should just go and get a subscription to GLM and play around with it. CodeRabbit has too much fluff. I find grep tile much better. You should give them a try. I mean, honestly, it's all too much fluff. It's like, maybe at one point I'll try that out, but how do you feel about the usage limits when you get with Claude Code Max with Opus 4.5? We had to open to us at work, and I blew through my allotted $5 budget in 22 minutes. They gave you a $5 budget for Claude Code? Is that a joke? And I think a lot of people ask about the pricing for these models, and I think they just don't understand who these models are for. Like, these models cost a bunch of money to run in the cloud with compute, and I think they're mainly meant for like I guess places where they pay a bunch of money to software engineers. Because a $5 budget, like that's ridiculous. I don't know why they'd even give you a $5 budget. Like my company gives us like Claude Code access and they're like, hey, just don't waste a bunch of money, right? How much money do you spend on the AI services model? $100 a month. What's up, Leon? The front-end designer skill looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's a whole Git repo called Claude Skills. What is it called? It's like awesome Claude Skills. But there's another skill that I installed. Let me type in skills here. I have one called... where do my skills go? Maybe it's here. UI UX Pro Max. There's a very interesting skill here that has a bunch of like hard-coded data in a CSV file. You basically just npx install this skill and then you can set it up in your project, and it just helps Claude know a bunch about color theory, style, padding, landing pages, stuff like that. I've been playing around with this skill, and that's basically what I use to build out Rapid Cut, this whole UI. It looks a little AI generated, I won't lie. You know, it got the background gradient. But this is one prompt to get it to look like this. One prompt with the Claude UI UX skill. Maybe a Gemini prompt too. I don't know. I think I might have thrown it in the Gemini. But yeah, skills are pretty cool. I'm going to add a segment in my course about skills. I just haven't gotten around to it. I need to make that now. I'm curious about the money question above as well. Guys, like $100 a month is all you need. Claude Code subscription, $100 a month. That's it. I will say I do use some on-demand credits in Cursor. Once in a while, I'll kick off a GPT 5.2 or I'll kick off a Composer 1. Let's see what I'm at now. I'm at $34 of on-demand. I have my limit set to 50. I pay for the $20 a month Cursor subscription. A lot of the stuff they give you free usage for, like you'll kick off a Composer 1 or auto mode and it's like free to use. But yeah, I don't know. This is like chump change, you know? It's small change for a software engineer. And I'm not saying that to offend you guys, because I know some people like that's a lot of money. But I can go to McDonald's and spend $40 for a meal for my family. One meal for the day. McDonald's, 40 bucks. And so when I'm paying $40 for, or sorry, $100 a month in Claude Code subscriptions, like that's nothing. Did you try Open Code though? Thoughts? I haven't tried it out. I've seen videos of it. It seems like a really great product. I mean, they really polished up the UI. It's probably even much better than Claude Code CLI. Like Claude Code CLI is trash in my opinion. But I mean, like Dax and the SST team, they know how to build terminal-based products for sure. And I do think Open Code gives you more flexibility because you can hook into various models. I just need to figure out if Open Code supports like Claude skills and Claude agents and stuff like that. There's some features of Claude Code. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure Open Code supports these things. I'm too lazy to go try it out, right? Once I've already found a tool and a workflow that works for me, it's going to be very hard for someone to get me off of that workflow. Like you have to show me a tool that's like mind-blowingly better. And sometimes that's very hard to do. But I'm sure Open Code is really great. I remembered I found some discount code somewhere that reduced it to $10. Nice. That's awesome. Since AI can now clone a code base in days, how do you build a real moat for SaaS business so it isn't easily copied? I think the moat is you have to have a better marketing team. You got to be able to market your thing. You got to convince people to use it. I mean, that's kind of what happened with AutoClaude, right? I started working on Automaker. I made a video the 9th of December. AutoClaude, the guy was working on AutoClaude at the same time. And then 2 days later, he has a whole UI with a Kanban board with the exact same shortcut keys that I had in my project. So he basically like, I'm assuming he took a screenshot of what I had and added in a UI to his project. And now his AutoClaude project is like 3,000 stars and ours is like 1,000 stars. So he's doing a much better job at marketing it. So at the end of the day, he might win in terms of like getting the most people using it. So I guess my point is like you could still build a really great product, but if someone can outmarket you, it doesn't matter, right? You can control Claude code via shell commands or via Anthropic's SDK. Anthropic's SDK. We're using the SDK right now. Let's see, I topped up $5 for API usage and literally one request to use it without finishing the job. Yeah, I would not recommend using like API keys. Like the only way you can do this like is with subscriptions. And until hopefully these people just keep on running in the negatives. Like is Claude Code even, is Anthropic even profitable? Is Cursor even profitable? I don't think they are. I think they're just kind of subsidizing our AI usage at this point. And so like it doesn't make sense to be spending $5 on a single request that could sit for like 10 minutes trying to build out a feature or fix a bug, and then it just fails to do it at the end of those 10 minutes. I've seen that a lot where you'll kick off something in Claude Code. It just sits there 20 minutes later. You're like, okay, this is going to fix the issue. And then it doesn't work. Like, wow. Like Opus 4.5 is good, but it just doesn't, it's not perfect, right? What about the environment with all these new data centers? Also, a lot of people talk about the crazy invests made into OpenAI and that the company itself doesn't generate that much money. What about the environment? I mean, my AC right now is using more energy. Heating my house in the winter in 5 seconds is using more energy than a single prompt. Another 5 seconds just went by. It just used two prompts worth of energy, right? So I don't know. I think sometimes we focus on the wrong stuff. Are we able to bring existing projects to Automaker, or is it better suited for starting something from scratch? Yeah, you can bring in a new project to Automaker. You can just open it up and then you can ask it to generate new features from that existing project. You have a public analytics page in your icon generated app, but protected under an admin account. Isn't that kind of risky? I have a public. I mean, if someone can get access to my Google account, sure. I'm not sure what your question is. The analytics page is protected by, like if you try to go to my admin analytics page, you can't access it unless you have an admin account, right? So how would someone get access to the admin account? They'd have to steal my password, also steal my multi-factor authentication to log into my Google account, or they have to grab access to my database. And if they have access to my database, like all bets are off, right? I'm not really sure I understand your question. The analytics page is the deployed, it's not a dev thing. Yeah, why is that an issue though? I mean, like there's thousands of applications out there that have secured endpoints and secured UIs. If you secure your application and properly set up authorization on your endpoints, it's not an issue. I want to say thank you for all your knowledge you share on this channel. It's helped a lot over the years. Hey, I appreciate Achilles Draco. I'm from the EU, and if I understand you correctly, you pay $200 once and you have lifetime access, right? Thanks for your reply. Do you also teach in the course which subscriptions are needed and set up? Yes, you get lifetime access to the course. Like, I'm not going to take away your access. Do you also teach in the course with subscriptions? I believe I do. I think I talk about how I have the $100 a month Claude Code subscription and then the $20 a month Cursor subscription, and then I also do some on-demand overage on Cursor if I need to. In terms of setup, I do walk you through how to like use Claude Code and set it up, how to do the status line stuff, how to add in, you know, sub agents, how to configure new sub agents. You can kind of go to the home page of Agentic Jumpstart and read through the Claude Code and the Cursor segments if you are curious what I do teach. Make sure you think that those are good contents that would help you if you don't already know them. I noticed that you have a fade effect when switching desktops. If you're using Mac, you can disable this. I think I have... thought I did the reduced motion already. Have you used much of Olama with local models? I just got a cheap N1 Max, 64 gigabytes, and I've been loving local models. I think I've only ran a couple of local models before just to kind of play around with it. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't see how this could be a viable solution. Like, for coding at least. Because often I'll have like 5 or 6 Claude Code terminals all running in concurrently. And I wouldn't think that my local MacBook could handle that many like concurrent prompts. Alright, let's see if it made those changes to Automaker. Where did it just do this work? That's weird. I don't know if it's because I didn't hard refresh the UI, but... I think it's good enough though. I'm gonna go ahead and just commit these things. Can I use the Claude Code Agents SDK with my Claude Code subscription? Yeah, you can use it with your you can use it with your subscription. Sorry. Alright, let's read through this one. This is going to be a large pull request. So adding support for the Cursor Agent CLI as an alternative AI provider alongside the existing Claude Code SDK. This enables users to leverage their Cursor subscription for AI tasks without requiring a separate Anthropic API key. Key changes: new Cursor provider wraps the Cursor Agent CLI with streaming JSON outputs. Cursor model types added. Cursor Opus 4.5 thinking. Cursor Sonnet. Cursor okay. Model mapping maps UI aliases. Feel like status detection, new endpoint in UI components. To detect Cursor Agent installation. Update model selector. Show both Claude Code SDK. Okay, let's just go through this one. This is going to take the entire stream. Get CLI command. Okay, execute the query. Print, output format, stream JSON, stream partial output, workspace, model, force, resume, prompt text, on a cursor agent process, process the stream, that's being called from here. Resolves this promise when it's done. Keeps pushing stuff to the buffer so we can get the output. Run command. Run a cursor agent command and return output. Okay. Get available cursor models. Opus 4.5 thinking, cursor sonnet. This is the one I'm interested in, GPT 5.2. That'd be great. Cursor models, cursor hyphen, okay. Cursor provider, Claude provider, get all providers. Nice. Get cursor status. So this is what's ran, I think, in the setup. Let's see if we have a cursor API key setup or if it has installation status authenticated. So it has OAuth support. That looks good. Cursor status, great. Cursor status, this basically calls that, returns the JSON. It's a test, I don't care. Agent view. Honestly, don't care too much about UI stuff. Care more about the logic in the back end. Providers constants. I'm not sure if this is the right place to put these things. We'll let it slide. Provider selector. Okay, so there must be a selector somewhere I should look for. Profiles views. Providers, okay. Halfway through. Change Claude to providers. What is this? Settings view. Okay. Cursor CLI status. Okay. Some type stuff. The agent, okay. Oh, these are helpers. Okay. Types. Don't care. Model. Okay, from my initial review, I mean, it seems okay. Granted, I mean, I didn't do a thorough review on that. So I'm going to go ahead and just say GitHub pull request checkout. We're going to see if this works locally. I didn't see any package JSON updates, so it should just work. Alright, so what he changes, AI provider, we have a Claude Code CLI versus CLI, it says it's installed. We have OAuth set up already. Claude usage tracker. Go over here, let's go back to actually, let me test something. Hopefully that doesn't mess anything up. He didn't, I don't think they added it to this. I might merge it anyway, but I'm gonna go back to that pull request and like... I don't see you adding the cursor CLI setup to the setup wizard. Is that something that maybe I missed, or is that not added in this pull request? Log code and Anthropic API key. No, it's probably fine anyway. Let's just test this out. So what else did he change? AI profiles. He has a cursor CLI now. We can make a custom profile. Why does it show Opus here? I guess you could still use the Opus models through cursor, so I guess that's why they have it. But I would expect to see like other things here. Okay, here we go. GPT 5.2. Test it out and see if it works. So we're on Agentic Jumpstart. Can you just print out the words "Hello World" to the console? How do I verify if it's actually using the right model or not? I might go and add a console log here. So I think there's a CLI. Let's go to cursor provider. Could be a query method. Right here, execute query, console log. Let's go ahead and spam that out a couple times. This should run in the back end too, so when I run this, I should see it print out executing query a bunch of times. If it is using the cursor. So what I'm going to do is make another one. Print out the world's "Hello World" to the console. Yeah, I don't think this is working the way he thinks it is. When I'm creating a new feature, I selected the cursor CLI provider and I selected GPT 5.2 and I added a bunch of console logs, which you'll see selected as context. But I've never seen these print out. Can you go through and verify that we're sending the right model to the backend when they have the cursor CLI provider and the GPT 5.2 model selected? And then I want to go ahead and link this. I'm just going to say these are the console logs. I think it's still using Claude Code. I'm not convinced this is actually working the way that he thinks it does. What's up, Sharon? Yeah, so Sharon, I'm going through this pull request for adding cursor CLI support. There's a couple things I'm noticing that are missing, like there's no cursor CLI setup in the wizard. Also, I kicked off a feature. I told it to use cursor provider with GPT 5.2, and it never actually printed any logs here. So I don't think this is actually hooking in properly to the cursor subscription. By the way, if there's any pull requests you want me to check out, put the PR number in the chat of the live stream. I can go check it out and get it merged in for you. I use Cursor for coding and was wondering if Claude Code would be a better switch specifically for more unlimited agent usage, or if the limits are about the same. I think you're going to get a much more bang for your buck with a Claude Code subscription. Opus 4.5 is pretty expensive in Cursor. Like just do one prompt with Opus 4.5 in Cursor, and you're probably going to run up like a 50 cent, $1 per prompt. So 100 prompts, you're going to hit the Claude Code subscription. And I've done like tons and tons of prompts. In fact, I think we can actually do something cool over here. Let's just do here. I'll say /stats. Let's see. So I'm not sure why it's not going back. I've been using Claude Code for a hot minute. Why is it stopping here? This must be a new feature they just added and they weren't tracking stats. I have 25 million tokens. Longest session. Longest streak is 30 days. Peak hours. You use 34 times more tokens than War and Peace. What does that mean? Is that like a person's name? Okay, session. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. And then as you can tell, like I just use Opus. Like there's just no point to using Haiku or Sonnet. If you need something to run fast, just go use Composer. It's just so much faster. Like Haiku is cool, I guess, if you're just using Claude Code, but like Opus is where it's at. Previous video you showed a third-party website with amazing design effects and replicated it. Where do you find these websites with cool new effects? Which video was that? What software roles do you think people so switch to if they still like to code manually? Just curious. You probably want to get into like, I mean, no matter what, you're going to be coding manually sometimes, right? We're not going to get away from coding manually, especially as our project grows in size. I just don't think we're going to be coding as much manually. I think if you were to find a role that's more like using Rust or C++ or C, like the lower level languages with the memory management and stuff, you're still going to be probably using an LM to generate the code for you, but you probably are going to be doing a much more careful review of the code. But I don't know. I think we're going to reach a point now where like no one's going to manually write code anymore. I think these LMs are going to generate all the code for us. That's my prediction of this industry. When will we hit that? I don't know, but I literally, the entire zombie game I worked on, I didn't write like a single line of code. And that was like 97% all through agentic coding. Agentic Jumpstart, my course, that was all agentic coding. Automaker was built 100% with like a Claude Code subscription, agentic coding. And so to think that we're still going to be manually writing code, maybe you can find like small little one-off projects where we do that. I just don't think that's where the future is heading. Like I think we're going to be fully letting LLMs write all the code and reviewing the code and refactoring the code. Unless we hit a plateau with the quality of these LLMs, I just don't see this going any other way. Like this has to be going this way. But you can say that's a bad take maybe. Or maybe I'm too optimistic about AI, but I just, from what I'm seeing and how fast this is progressing, coding the manual way is like slowly going to go away. And by slowly, I mean like rapidly going to go away. At my work, what is my role or title? I guess you could say a senior engineer. At one point, I was a systems architect. Right now, my quote-unquote role is like a senior DevOps engineer. I basically just, whatever the job needs me to do, I do it, right? I don't think software engineers can like be shoehorned into roles, really. I think it's better when your team diversifies. It knows a little bit about the front end, the back end, the infrastructure, security. Like you need to know about all this stuff if you want to be more valuable. War and Peace is a classic book. Oh. I don't read. Get out of here. Claude Code thinks their users are smart. I can count on my fingers and toes how many books I've read. Is using ensure query data in the loader and use suspense query in route component considered the best fetching pattern in TanStack start? I don't know about the best. It depends. Do you want the whole page to kind of block for the data to come in. I think I use ensure query data sometimes, just so it's like the prefetching can work. It's all about the prefetching in my opinion. So like when you hover over your mouse over a link, if you have a loader set up, you want it to prefetch that data and have it stored inside the React, the TanStack start query cache, right? And so you have to kind of make those calls in the loader. Use suspense query, that blocks the UI. So that's kind of a user experience question. Do you want the whole UI to block until that data is there? I would rather have a spinner or a skeleton loader show up. So you can't be using use suspense query in those scenarios. You have to just say use query and then say if is loading, show a spinner, right? What's up, Josh? How's it going? Planning plus manual review equals the future. You still need to know what to do. You just don't write the code yourself. Also, good morning. How about the cost of that? The cost of what? That's like one of the most questions I'm asked all the time is like, okay, what about the cost of like letting these LMs build your stuff? Like I said, I can spend $40 going to McDonald's for my family. The $100 a month Claude Code subscription, like we're living in different universes. Okay, we're just living in different universes. Like that's a no-brainer. Like that's not even an issue in terms of costs. Especially if it helps me ship 5 or 10 times faster. How do you make the UI layout look so good? Are you using any kind of MP or something? The LP looks great. I just use Gemini 3. And I also use a Claude skill called UI UX skills. Also, you can go and find Dribble. You can find screenshots of good user interfaces. You can take a screenshot of it. You can paste it in as context, and it can kind of analyze that and make the UI look a little bit better. Are you ever going to recreate the Lando Norris website effect, or at least some of them? What is Lando Norris? Yeah, I need to actually try OpenCode. Check it out. It automatically selects the model suited for the task. I don't know how I feel about that, because Cursor's auto mode sucks. And so I've been burned with like auto mode picking the wrong models. I'd rather just know exactly what the model's good for and then use it when I want it. But it is a cool feature that they have like a router built into OpenCode. That's pretty cool. I'm in game dev, and I'll tell you, agentic models are bad and probably will be. Most of game dev is system design, not really coding. AI is bad at a lot of stuff. Managing events, systems, decoupling, overtime, visual effects. I don't know. I guess I built this entire game. I didn't write a single line of code for this. Multiplayer network game. The networking has optimization built in for delta compressions. I'm writing all the network requests to a byte buffer. I have decoupled systems. I have an entire map maker editor built around this. So yeah, I think LLMs are pretty good for games too, especially if you use and write your own game engine. Not sure how well I agree with your statement there, because again, 95% of all this code, definitely I use Cursor and Claude Code to write it all out. In fact, you guys can just go join me if you want in a bit, but let me focus on this. Any use of AI that uses corrupt data is not professional and can be used and can be up for liability. And how many are playing the slop? No one. Was that English? Listen, I'm not saying LLMs are like the silver bullet, right? There are issues with LLMs, and if you know how to properly prompt for checking for security, your code can be insecure, right? No one is playing the game. What are you even saying? Like, do you even reread your sentences? Like, they don't even make sense. We got some cope in the chat. Some cope. Forgot to kick it off. All right, cursor agent exited with exit 1 on untyped workspace. All right. Yeah, I don't think this guy's PR actually works. I'll probably have to play around with this and make it work. Do they have a docs for this? Free documentation. Okay. Maybe I don't have the latest cursor CLI actually. Cursor. What is it called? It's like cursor CLI? I don't know what it's called. Cursor CLI. How do I install this thing? Let's just get the... It was called Cursor Agent. What version am I on? This old? Is there like a cursor update? I feel like I have an older version. Like, why is this not? Let's just install a new version. Okay, yeah, I'm at the latest version now. All right, so I want to figure out shell mode. I don't think you even need a workspace. Like, why would you need to provide a workspace? Usually it just runs in the current working directory. And I am kind of curious, how is this working? I'm going to go over here and just ask it real quick. Be easier. Is the current implementation of the cursor provider, is it using a headless mode or is there something else? It looks like it's using headless mode. Okay, so it's using headless mode. It seems like hyphen workspace isn't a valid argument. Can you go check their documentation to find the correct argument for providing a workspace, or can it just do the current working directory I'm running the command at? No, I didn't want you to load up this browser thing. The CLI uses the current working directory by default, and we are already setting the CW. Okay, yeah, so okay. All right, let's just fix this guy's code because it wasn't even working to begin with. Executing feature with the model cursor GPT-5. Okay. This is probably not going to work with the logs either. Bro wants to keep his game dev job. No, I don't think it's... I think LMs are great to write code too, but it's good when you know what you want and prompt it as you should. B, what about new devs who don't know much about the best practices, security, and those things? Yeah, I mean, If you're a new dev, you should be prompting an LM, hey, can you check this for security vulnerabilities? Can you explain why that was a vulnerability? You still need to understand how this stuff kind of works. No one is playing the game. You barely have 50 viewers. Let's see. I have a good idea. How about you just get off of my channel? How about that? I'll put you in a little timeout. A little 24-hour timeout. You're being a little bad boy. All right, no one is saying AI will replace devs, but you are like those people saying that IntelliSense is bad as it will lead people to forgetting how to code back in the day. Listen, all the good devs I've met, they're using AI. Like, they're all in on AI because they can move fast. They understand how to actually prompt. They understand how to review code. They know how to actually ask the LM to review the code, fix security vulnerabilities, make it more performant, make it decoupled, make it a better architected system. Good devs know how to prompt this stuff. So I think if you don't know how to prompt this stuff, you're worried and you're concerned that an LM is going to have security vulnerabilities. But I don't know. I mean, all the best devs I've met who've been in the industry for 20 years, they are like, holy crap, this stuff is crazy good. And they're using Opus 4.5 every day to code. So you guys, like, I'm just done with the cope. You know, you guys can cope over it all you want. But you guys are going to get left behind. And that's just how it's going to work. Is there anything wrong with GitHub Copilot? I mean, I don't know. It seems like Cursor is just a much better IDE. It seems like Claude Code is a much better IDE. You keep saying you have the $200 version of Claude. Am I seeing things wrong, or is it the max subscription of $100? I upgraded to the $200 version back when we were really cranking out Automaker features. But since then, I've bumped it back down to the 100 because I haven't been hitting limits. I think the 100 is good enough. Do you think the fundamentals are different now? Like, syntax is not super important anymore, but the architectural decisions are. Absolutely. Fundamentals are still super important. Like, for example, I built out this video editor in about a couple hours overnight, right? I record a video for YouTube. I upload it to Rapid Cut. It identifies all the areas I should cut out. Like, I did a brief pause here, brief pause over here. There's some random silence that I had. It's kind of not perfectly putting it where it needs to be, but I can click on this and I can cut out the silence, delete it. Eventually I can export this, right? A couple hours of work and I have a fully functioning video editor. It uses FFmpeg under the hood to stitch all these cuts together. The key part I'm going to talk about, though, is the fundamentals. I prompted this little timeline at the bottom. I said, I want you to use a doubly linked list. So every time you have a segment and I cut it, I want you to create two nodes and link them together with the doubly linked list. And then later on, when I'm deleting these nodes, I want you to reroute the pointers so that at the very end, when I want to play back, I want you to just go ahead and seek forward and skip over sections I deleted. So there's literally no video editing happening in this application, but I can play back stuff that I just cut and it instantly just skips forward, right? So like, let me just, I think it's like broken right now. Oh, I'm not even hosting the application. But I guess the point is the fundamentals. If you don't know what a doubly linked list is and why it could solve that problem of quickly allowing you to make cuts in a timeline and have it skip over things when you're playing back, and when you're exporting, having all those segments that are relevant, patch those and send the FFmpeg so it can stitch them all together and have your final video output. You're not going to prompt that, and so you're just going to assume the LM's going to do it for you, and sometimes it's going to give you a bad solution. So yes, fundamentals are still super important to know. Security is still super important to know. When you're reviewing the code, make sure you find what is insecure. Check your stuff for authentication, authorization. Check your stuff for performance issues. It's important to know. I think people say that you are trying to tell people to not learn how to code. No, I just reached a point where it's like, I've been coding for 13 years. I don't care what you guys do. I am going to just go all in with AI and try to make money using AI and try to ship things using AI. And you guys can either follow what I'm doing if you want to be as efficient in coding, and you guys can make the figure out in your head like, hey, maybe 13 years of experience is making him efficient at using LLMs. And maybe at some point it won't even matter if you're experienced or not, because the agents and all of the Claude skills and all of the MD files that we have automatically created for us can produce really good code. And it doesn't matter if you're just like a vibe coder or like some random person who's been coding for 6 months. If you can still get the same output as a senior engineer who's been coding for 13 years, it like doesn't really matter, right? So you can learn all the fundamentals, you can learn how to code, you can learn how to write the syntax and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, how useful is it? You know, how useful is it knowing how to write code? Reading code's important. If you want to review it for security issues and stuff, yeah, reading code's important. But writing the code manually, I honestly believe it's going to go away. Like, there will no longer be people manually typing on their keyboard to build out software. But if you have to understand syntax to be able to read code, like that's your learning, how you learn best is like, oh, I got to type stuff out by hand to understand what a strategy pattern is, or what an adapter is, what's an interface, what's an abstract class. I don't know until I write it out. Then yeah, you should probably be writing code so you actually understand like what the LLM is outputting. But after you've gotten to my level of like, I've been coding for so long, you realize that this is just very tedious stuff. It's super tedious writing code. And when an LLM can churn out 50 times more code than you can in 5 minutes, why? You know? So, I don't know. I'm all in on it. I don't care. Like, I'm just all in. I usually watch videos at 2 times speed. Can you talk twice as fast for me? I'm new to coding and programming, kind of interested in it. Do you think it's still worth learning with AI coming into play? I mean, yes, I think it's still important to learn this stuff if you want to get into the industry. I can't predict the future though. I don't know how this is going to look. Right? If you asked me 3 months ago, do you think, hey Cody, do you think the idea of having an autonomous agent like Devin, you know how like the Devin thing got hyped like a year ago? Do you think that's a viable solution? I would have laughed. I'm like, no, absolutely not. These models suck. And then Opus 4.5 came out, and I think people are starting to realize that, okay, yeah, this is actually kind of, I think we can have fully autonomous agents. And then when Opus 4.6 comes out, Opus 4.7 comes out, GPT-6 comes out, which is probably going to happen, what, 6 months from now? Like, what is the future going to look like? The fact that we can build this entire thing out. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just like, I just don't know how you guys can be so against this stuff. Like, this is crazy stuff. Code has always been a means to an end. After nearly 15 years in the industry, I don't care about code. I will read or write whatever the job requires, and with AI, I'm full on using it as well. Yeah, I mean, like, what I'm saying is, like, most of the experienced developers, 15 years in the industry, I've talked to another YouTuber, 20 years in the industry, they're all in on AI because they know what it's like to spend the entire day writing code by hand, debugging some stupid little syntax error that took you 8 hours. And then they see Composer 1 fix it in 2 seconds. They see Opus implement an entire swath of features, hitting back-end, front-end, infrastructure, writing your Terraform code, even SSHing into VPSs and like getting it all running and deploying. I think the more experience you have, the more you realize, wow, this is actually like the whole industry is changing now. I'm having some trouble with juniors using AI, but not skilled enough to judge if it's code smell or not. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be an issue. Like, they're going to have to get to a point where they can read the code and understand it, or figure out a way to hook in to agents that can automatically review the code and clean it up to make it better. As a junior, I can tell you I cannot be so productive as you and as my senior friends. Yeah, so there is like there's some value in knowing what you're doing. And like I said, like if you want to test this theory, sit your mom down in front of your computer, sit your dad down, give them Claude Code and ask them to build something. See how far they get. I bet you they're going to hit a block and they will not be able to get past it. There's going to be some random error in your console, some random error in your browser. They will have no idea how to prompt properly, no idea how to tag specific context files, no idea how to kick off multiple sub-agents to make this more efficient. There is a skill that needs to be learned when it comes to AI and agentic coding. And I think the more foundational that you understand, like, you know, your, what are they called, like first principles or something? The better your foundation is for coding, like the better you can just use these tools. Are you still using Claude Code subscription for Automaker? I pulled down the repo and it seems to only support Anthropic API key. You know what uses? There's a whole wizard that walks you through setting up with your keys. As long as you have the Claude Code CLI installed, it'll ask you to verify that it's set up, and then it'll ask you to verify your subscription key is actually working. And then it'll set up an OAuth key and use it. Or writing custom React components from scratch. God, I'm so happy that AI can do that. Yeah, I mean, like, bro, I used to spend... Like, imagine building out a calendar component. You know how long that would have taken you by hand back then? Like, let's say you weren't reaching in to grab an existing, like, NPM module. You know how long it would take you to build an actual calendar component that worked, that was responsive, that properly handled leap years, and, you know, you could, like, toggle through the months? That would have taken you a very long time. Now you can prompt AI and it'll do it for you in, like, 5 minutes. I mean, I'm a total noob and was looking at Harvard CS50X. I'm not against it, just want to learn the industry. Yeah, I mean, my take on academia and college, I think it's a giant waste of time in terms of the things they teach. I mean, it's cool to know how a compiler works, how an interpreter works, how assembly works. Like, that was something I had to learn in college. We had to, like, write stuff in assembly. But if you zoom out a little bit, it's a completely worthless topic. If your goal is to ship products and make applications, a lot of stuff you're going to learn with, like, a CS50X course, not very important. But you can take it. I'm not saying you shouldn't take it. In fact, you're going to be that foundational layer is going to be better if you do take these type of courses. I'm just saying that, like, how valuable is it? Even before AI, I don't even think college was that valuable. Me learning how to write stuff in assembly, awesome. How does that help me with my day job? It does not. Me learning how a compiler is written, recursive descent parser, how does that help me with my day job? Literally doesn't. All these leak code questions you're going to ask in interviews, how do they help you with your day job? They don't. It's just, I think it's just gatekeeping. I honestly think college is gatekeeping. If you want to be good, just learn how to code, build stuff. Don't these agents write a bunch of deprecated code, forced to use older versions? Are they up to date? I mean, you can use MCPs. You can use something like Context 7 to grab the latest up-to-date information when you put it into your context window. So it's going to use up-to-date libraries and modules. And then also it's on you to review what it's adding to your code base. And if you see it add in a deprecated piece of code, you just reprompt it real quick and say, hey, you're using like an older version. Please use the up-to-date library. Tag Context 7 MCP. It's going to grab the good stuff, right? I think if we can forecast another 2 years, I'm a believer in the Dario no more jobs. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly something that could happen. I think what we're going to see happening is that there's going to be like 1 or 2 really cracked engineers who are going to become extremely good at using AI, and they are going to be the ones who are going to like manage a lot of the stuff in terms of the software at the company. Like for a startup, right? You're going to have like just a select few really good engineers who can use AI, just add features, fix bugs. I think that's like the short term, maybe in like 5 years. The stuff moves slow, right? The stuff moves slow. There's still projects that don't even allow AI. So like when we talk about AI taking your job, I feel like in 5 or 10 years, that's when you're going to see a lot more like smaller teams with 1 or 2 really good crack devs who know how to use AI and can ship tons of features and can like refactor code by prompting AI to do this stuff. And they're going to be able to take that small team and build out a huge product and manage it. But I do think that's going to take a long time to hit. And then as terms of like the autonomous stuff, this is still, I think this is going to take like 5 or 10 years before we have full applications just created autonomously, right? There's still a lot of stuff that you have to go and debug. Like even that's not even working. I'm going to go reply to this guy. Hey, I checked out your branch. Can you add some console logs to the cursor provider and verify this is actually getting ran when you select it in the feature model tab? Because I've tried this and it never actually ran GPT 5.2. I had to do a bunch of code changes to try to get this working, and still it's not outputting any logs after it ran GPT 5. Verify your code actually runs the cursor stuff, because I don't think it's working. AI just does all the tedious work for us. It's awesome to put my ideas from my head into the prompt and they just get it done. I'm a professional coder for over 25 years. I got tired in writing code, but now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone I've talked to who's been in the industry for like 15, 20, 25 years, they are like all in on AI, because I think the hard part is understanding the higher level system and architecture and then prompting the AI to implement it all. Like that's, I don't need to worry about that. Just get it done, you know? How do you think the space of software engineering jobs will change in terms of job descriptions? Will companies start looking for those who use the tools the best, not the best programmers? I think so. I think people would probably get hired if you're able to harness these tools and really show true efficiency and productivity using these tools. At the end of the day, business just wants results, right? They want results and they don't want their system to crash or have security vulnerabilities. And so if you're able to figure out how to use these AI tools to achieve that, you're going to be able to do it much faster than the traditional artisanal coders, whatever we want to call these coders who don't use AI these days. Having Claude Code agents work with work trees and Git is awesome. I'm starting an app I always wanted, and I had it make 3 different versions of it, and I just pick what I want. Yeah. Work trees are pretty cool. I'm self-taught. I've hired people with no CS degree, but a desire to learn that outperform people with masters and PhD in CS. Yeah, the degree means nothing. The degree is unfortunately just like a societal gatekeep. You don't got the money to get the degree, you don't get the job. Like that's literally what they use it for. I think there's a ton of self-taught people who are much better than CS degree people. And in fact, when I graduated with my CS degree, there's a lot of people who I looked around, my peers, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how you guys are going to get hired, because you guys are cheating on all your tests. You're copying people's assignments to try to pass the class. You have no idea how any of this stuff works. So like having a degree does not prove you know anything about coding, or can you even be creative to build an application yourself. I just tell Claude to use work trees with subagents and it does all this stuff automatically. Very cool stuff. Interesting experiment to try. Try creating a project in a tech stack you don't have that much experience in, like C++ or Haskell. See how well you do with agentic coding. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool experiment. This are really weird times. Now, I will say I did this experiment at work. I was put on a Django Python project. I've never coded with Django Python. It is kind of rough the first couple of days because you don't know the lingo, you don't know the syntax. But then as you're like prompting the LLM and they're reading the LLM's output, I mean, you slowly start picking up the language. And by slowly, I mean you very rapidly pick up the new language and the new syntax and the new import module system and the new Python conventions for how to, like, you know, deal with dependencies with pip, how to create a makefile to run on your stuff. The first week is rough, but then after that, like, you start ramping up, and the LLM helps you ramp up so much faster at learning a new language. So I think the same thing would probably happen with C++ or Haskell. C++ might be a little bit more tricky because it has a lot of like manual memory management. I don't think Haskell does, but I mean, it's kind of like Lisp, isn't it? These are really weird times. Yeah. There is. It's time to build with AI app that teaches people how to become farmers, the ultimate farming tutorial. I know Python, but I have done many projects that are machine learning related using AI, and it's done well. More so now than before the summer. What are you using for that voice to text? Is pretty cool. I'm using Super Whisper. I think college is only worth it for jobs that force you to have a college degree like data scientist. Yeah, but I guess my question is, why do you even need a degree to learn about data science? Like, the LLM will teach you data science. The LLM will teach you anything you want to know. There's not like a bar we have to pass. So like if you go and get a data science degree, there's not like a bar you have to go and they verify you actually know what you're talking about. Versus like if you want to become a doctor or a nurse, there's an actual thing you have to go and pass, like a test you have to pass to verify you kind of know what you're doing. You have to do residency as well. Computer science doesn't have that, right? So you get the degree, you could have cheated your whole way through college. You could still absolutely not know how to code. You just know how to cram information in your brain right before the test, pass the test, and then move on. So like, even so, I just don't think, I still think a degree is just like a society's way of gatekeeping. If you really want to learn, you can probably learn and become really good at whatever you want at this point. I think coding manually also makes me smarter and helps me think better. Yeah, I mean, if it helps you, then definitely do it. I mean, I coded manually for a long time before AI came. I don't think anyone should ignore the code, but you don't always have to write it to keep on top of stuff. I think the issue is when people think writing code manually makes them better than people using AI, that's where the ego gets in the way. And if you zoom out and you look at two people, one's like writing all the code by hand and they take a week to ship a feature, and this other person uses AI and he ships the feature in 10 minutes. At some point, the person paying your salary is going to value the person who can ship the features and fix the bugs faster. But then you're going to throw in some cope sentence saying, well, you know, the person who ships in 5 minutes has no idea what's happening. How do you know they're not prompting AI to review the code for security vulnerabilities? How do you know they're not prompting Opus 4.5 to make sure the code is decoupled and well maintainable? Okay, so I think it's just, there's a lot of cope going around. I guess agent can't do DevOps platform engineering, yes, besides Terraform stuff. I guess you'd have to define what DevOps platform engineering stuff is, because, I mean, yeah, like, I've had Claude Code write a bunch of Terraform code for me, and it works perfectly fine. Do you think software engineering will need to be combined with other types of engineering, electrical engineers, for staying relevant and not be fired? I don't think so. All right, I'm going to put a don't merge label on this thing. Now, I will say with agentic coding, though, there is still a bottleneck, and that is, like, how much can you as a developer... Like, look at all these pull requests. There's no way I can go through here, all these, and test these and merge them myself. Right? We're able to ship so much code. All these people making pull requests are using Claude Code to add in new features. And so now I have a dilemma. Do I want to go and check all these out by hand? Because obviously the one that was just created didn't even work. It had bugs in it. So I can't trust this code. I don't want this Automaker project to become a garbage can. And so I am still like a bottleneck where AI cannot get rid of that bottleneck. In fact, all it does is it just takes more stuff and it shoves it into that small bottleneck to the point where it makes the bottleneck even harder to get work done. Because now it's like, okay, now I'm overwhelmed. I got 16 pull requests. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'll have 18. The issue list will keep growing. And I'm at a dilemma of like, okay, do I just let merge stuff in even though I haven't validated it? No. This stuff has to be tested on various operating systems like Mac, Linux, Windows. The Electron builds all work differently depending on how you're trying to load in files using file paths. And so like, I guess that's the one thing I'll say is that like your job is still safe because every project is going to have bottlenecks, whether that's in like the process, the red tape that you have at work. Stuff can't get to production unless you have someone go and review it by hand. And when that's happening, I mean, like, doesn't matter how much code you can ship, it's going to hit a bottleneck somewhere. And I've seen this at work. I've seen this on open source projects. I've seen this on my own projects. Like, I can only handle so much in my head. There's only so much context switching I can do until I've hit that bottleneck. And so AI can't even help me until you reach the point where you're like, let's just trust everything AI is doing. And we all know you can't. So I guess that's the one positive thing I say about, even though AI is making us faster, like, don't worry, there's still a bunch of bottlenecks. A human in the middle of the process has to review stuff. And like, as long as AI cannot be 100% accurate in generating good code, you still need to review the code. Have you seen a successful product yet that was fully vibe coded? Can you define what successful means? Is successful 10 paying users, 100 paying users? Like, what's your term of successful? Because I bet you money there's people out there who have vibe coded projects that are making a couple grand every month for them, or even more. I know there's a bunch of like fake monthly recurring revenue stuff that you'll see online, but I can guarantee you right now that there's people probably shipping services that they vibe coded the entire thing and they're making money. Actually making money, not peanuts amount. Yeah, I 100% believe that there's services out there that are making money that are 100% vibe coded. Write a dashboard that triage them for you using Claude, yeah. Anyway, cool. So the stream was 2 hours long. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for joining, guys. Hope you guys learned something watching me do my agentic coding workflow and trying to add in features to Automaker. Let me stop the music real quick. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I got a Discord you guys can join. Go to agenticjumpstart.com and go to the top. There's a link to the Discord. That's where everyone is chatting about features to add into Automaker, and we have a team of people trying to maintain this project. So if you want to contribute to Automaker, you can go check that out. If you want to check out my course, it's also there, agenticjumpstart.com. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Happy coding.